Hello. Thank you very much for being here with me today. My name is Mario Velez, and I am going to talk to you about what AWS is doing to help our customers address their digital sovereignty requirements through different infrastructure solutions. Now, the question is, what is digital sovereignty? And the truth is, there is really no one definition of digital sovereignty. But we've spoken to our customers, we've listened to our customers, to our partners, to regulators, and what we've seen is that there are three key elements that must be considered within digital sovereignty. We have data residency, we have access restrictions, that these two combined make up what we call data sovereignty. And then there's operational sovereignty, which addresses resiliency, survivability, and independence. Now, combining data sovereignty and operational sovereignty is what we come up with, we view being digital sovereignty, the concept of digital sovereignty. Our customers, what they're looking for in terms of data residency is to understand and be able to control where their data is being stored and how it's being transferred at all times. In terms of access restriction, they want to be sure that there are the appropriate access controls so that neither AWS or a foreign government could access their data in the cloud. They're also looking to ensure that their operations will not get disrupted because of potential natural disasters or geopolitical threats. And finally, they're also looking to be able to contribute to the economic and social fabric of their country. And so what they're looking to do is to promote local skills and infrastructure, leveraging the local technology vendors. With this in mind, AWS has really understood what we're trying to understand what our customers are looking for. And we, in 2022, announced the AWS Digital Sovereignty Pledge. In this pledge, we are committing to adding more services and features to further protect our customers' data, to enhance the residency capabilities, features that we provide, to ensure that we continue to add additional access controls so that the data is only accessible to the customer and to any trusted partners. We're going to also continue to innovate and invest in sovereignty and encryption features so that our customers can continue to can encrypt anywhere, everything, everywhere, using encryption keys that are either inside or outside the AWS cloud. Now, furthermore, we're going to also continue to introduce and enhance our sovereignty and resilience options so that our customers can feel reassured that they will not encounter disruptions because of potential disconnections or coming from natural disasters or geopolitical threats. Now, I really do recommend that you take a look at our Digital Sovereignty Pledge. In it, you'll see more information specifically on what we're doing to help our customers control where their data is located, to further what further steps we're doing to introduce those controls, access controls, what we're doing to allow for encryption anywhere and everywhere. And as I mentioned, we're going to continue to innovate and invest to further enhance our current capabilities and introduce new ones. Now, what I'd like to touch on here now is our infrastructure and how we're using our infrastructure to help address these sovereignty requirements. You may have seen or heard in 2023 when we announced our plans to launch the European Sovereign Cloud. This is a fully physically isolated or physically separated and logically independent from all the existing infrastructure we currently have today. It will be located within the European Union and managed and operated by EU residents. It's well architected as we architect all our infrastructure with multi-AZs, multi-availability zones, fully redundant networking. The first region that we do look to launch will be at the end of 2025 in Germany. And we will have separate billing, metering, tags, configurations, roles, permissions, and policies. And the service portfolio of the European Sovereign Cloud region in Germany will be basically the same as all the other regions that we've launched in recent years. For example, in Spain, the UAE, Canada, and so etc. Now, we always recommend to our customers that they should consider running all their workloads, or as many workloads as they can, in the region, and we will be doing the same with our European customers that are looking to use the European Sovereign Cloud. However, we do recognize that our customers have certain applications that need to run closer to their operations or to their end users. It could be because of low latency or data residency requirements. And with that, what we've been doing over the past few years is introducing a number of different options that make it easier for our customers to use the cloud closer to their end operations. So in 2019, we introduced local zones. The first local zones being based in Los Angeles, and since then, we've introduced 30 local zones in 35 metropolitan areas throughout the world. And we're going to continue to invest in and to launch further local zones in many other parts of the world. Local zones are a fully managed AWS infrastructure. It's an extension of a region, but in a metropolitan area at a further distance from the region, which allows our customers to be able to use compute and storage services closer to their operations to comply with data residency requirements. We've also partnered with 5G partners to provide AWS Wavelength, which is a mobility-based cloud solution. And furthermore, for customers that are looking to continue their operations within their facilities, within their data centers, we've introduced in approximately the same year, 2019, AWS Outposts. Outposts are AWS infrastructure racks that we've introduced and placed into customer facilities or in colos that they select. The Outposts are fully managed by AWS. We manage all the logistics, the activation of the service. We then monitor the racks just like we would monitor any other part of our global infrastructure. And then at the end of the term, we are responsible for decommissioning and returning the equipment. So with Outposts, they can have a consistent experience between what they're running in the cloud and the services that they need to run locally in their data centers. Now, we've also in 2023, in August of 2023, introduced and announced a new solution that allows us to put infrastructure in customer facilities, and that is AWS Dedicated Local Zones. It's similar in sense of commercial local zones, but these are dedicated to a particular customer or community of customers. These could be built and operated in our customers' facilities, in a third party, or even in AWS facilities. And I'll touch a little bit more on dedicated local zones. And then as we go further out into the cloud continuum, we've introduced smart devices and for disconnected edge, rugged edge requirements, we have our AWS Snow family. Now, as I mentioned, for AWS Dedicated Local Zones, this is infrastructure that we will build, manage, and continue to own, but operating it in wherever the customer is requesting. This is operated and only operated by AWS personnel. It has the same benefits that our customers have grown accustomed to in terms of using the region or local zones. The scalability, elasticity, pay-as-you-go billing, and it's based on the same architecture as our commercial local zones. Now, the difference here is that we can tailor the processes, the security, governance, to the specific requirements of our customers with dedicated local zones. What we're looking to do is, as I mentioned just now, tailor our security guideline processes to meet the specific requirements of our customers. We are also allowing or giving them the opportunity to operate their data, manage their data in an isolated environment, nevertheless being connected back to the public cloud, which helps them maintain that consistency between their on-prem and cloud operations. And again, our view is that through this, what we're doing is generating more transparency for our customers. Now, I'd like to touch on a few examples of how our customers are actually leveraging infrastructure to help meet their digital sovereignty requirements. The first one I'm going to talk about is First Abu Dhabi Bank, which is the largest bank in the UAE, considered one of the safest and most important financial institutions in the world. They were looking to transform the customer experience and simplify the experience for their customers by, for example, looking to use their phone to create new accounts, request credit cards, but they also needed to be aware and manage how they would address data residency requirements. So what they did is they introduced AWS Outposts in a number of their different facilities throughout the UAE, and to ensure the resiliency, availability, and have now been able to improve their go-to-market by 50%, reduce the time by 50%, and improved the productivity of their developers and infrastructure teams by 60%. We have the case of Naturalsoft, a Spanish solution provider in the healthcare industry focused on electronic medical records. They have an aggressive expansion strategy, but they didn't want to necessarily be looking at investing and managing infrastructure in each country that they expand into. So they were able to actually leverage our expansion plans of local zones and have been using local zones to meet their data residency requirements in the various countries that they're now expanding into. And then in terms of dedicated local zones, we last year provided GovTech, which is one of the agencies in Singapore, with 2 dedicated local zones to give them the ability to start moving sensitive applications, sensitive workloads into a cloud environment, but maintaining it within an isolated environment so that they could transition over time into what would be a more public local zone. Their strategy was to start moving away from their own data centers, moving everything to the cloud, but being cognizant that there is a stepping stone in that process to address some of the more sensitive workloads. We've been working with them since June, July of last year, and they're continuing to now migrate their workloads to AWS, to our dedicated local zones. These, by the way, in this particular case, the dedicated local zones are in AWS facilities, keeping in mind that they're looking to move away from their data centers. So, to conclude, we've continued to focus and recommend to our customers that the region is where they're going to be able to make the best use of our service portfolio, of our well-architected infrastructure, but keeping in mind we recognize that they have certain requirements that may require us to move the cloud closer to their operations. So with that, we've introduced local zones, outposts, now dedicated local zones, AWS wavelength, and a number of, and we will continue to look at introducing more services, more features that will help enable them to further and better address their digital sovereignty requirements. With that, I want to thank you, and if anybody has any questions.